mask of civility. Away from the battlefield were scenes of political deliberation. White women were there, as well as a number of Native American men and one black man. I grasped some themes. Washington, I concluded, was a star of the show, which is true, though he is not the only one. Other themes I missed entirely. The labels affixed to the frames were confusing as often as they were helpful. I noticed that the dates of completion were years apart, and often out of sync with the order of the events being depicted. The artist had evidently painted out of sequence, and in bursts of activity long removed from each other. But the wall as a whole succeeded in its primary purpose. It got the viewer's attention. This is important. Pay attention. These men and women are dead, but they live here. You do not know them. You do not know them yet, but they had you in mind. Although words can be compelling, the eyes have it. This wall has our eyes. It anticipated visual forms Trumbull never knew. It was a graphic novel, its images less numerous than those in a book, but each one larger and more packed. Glimpsed quickly, it was a movie trailer. Studied slowly, it was the film itself. The story Trumbull aimed to tell was the story of the American Revolution. But it was more than a recap of engagements and parleys, or of sessions of Congress, the Revolutionary Tribunal. In a letter to Thomas Jefferson, one of his subjects, he defined his purpose: to give the present and future sons of oppression and misfortune such glorious lessons of their rights and of the spirit with which they should assert and support them. Trumbull wanted to tell the creation story of America, what it should mean to Americans and what it could mean to the world and to the future. Trumbull put his story on more than a single wall in a collegiate art gallery. He commissioned engravings that would replicate his images as prints, spreading his lessons nation and worldwide, and making, he hoped, a profit for himself. He toured his paintings before hanging them in their destined home. One of the venues in which he showed his depiction of the Declaration of Independence being presented to Congress was Independence Hall in Philadelphia, where the Declaration had been presented to Congress. He labored and schemed to hang vast copies of 4 of his paintings in the rotunda of the Capitol in Washington, D.C., and worked with the architects to make sure that the rotunda would be a space both grand and simple, best calculated to display them. He asked, in vain, to hang copies of 4 more of his paintings there. At the end of his artistic life, his talent all but gone, he busied himself with somewhat less vast copies that now hang in Hartford, Connecticut. He wrote an autobiography, whose first edition included plates of his works. Other books over the years, commemorative or instructive, have done the same. Now and again, a Trumbull will appear on letters or in wallets, on stamps or bills. They are in America's mind's eye. Trumbull's authority for telling this story was personal. He was born into a political family. His father, Jonathan Trumbull Sr., was the last colonial and first revolutionary governor of Connecticut, the rebel governor, the British called him. His 3 older brothers all served the cause. John himself was briefly on the staffs of 2 generals, George Washington and Horatio Gates. He served on the fringes of several battles, in the thick of one. He was shot at. He saw men wounded, killed. Out of uniform, he was jailed by the enemy as a spy. He stayed interested in American politics all his life and met everybody: French and British generals, Creek and Seneca chiefs, 6 presidents. He worshipped Washington. He was successively Jefferson's protege and wingman, his enemy, and finally his respected long-ago colleague. More important, Trumbull's authority as a storyteller was a product of thought and desire, conviction and will. He made the story of the American Revolution visible because he wanted to. For a little country with no tradition, an ignorant public.